Second.
We have a quorum,
We do?
Yeah.
When it started.
so
Any reason? not
3
to
is a
start?
quorum, so we can start.
Good evening. Meeting's turned on.
No, I don't think you have to turn it on.
Oh, really?
No, the smart board picks it up. Cause you guys aren't using the TC anymore,
We
right?
used them last week.
Did you?
They fixed them.
Well, they don't turn on any,
Do you want them on?
can you?
There's a button there.
He got his training. His first day was Monday, a day of
Wow.
no work. Well, he was supposed to show up on Monday. He closed, not explored. Yeah. Everywhere.
Right.
Good evening.
Yeah, there you go.
Good evening.
That sounds.
Everybody else has to turn theirs on.
Notice of time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting to the extent known was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of all meetings in 2026 was provided to be required by publication on December 10th, 2025. May we all rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The purpose of Millburn Special Improvement District is to promote, grow, and support local businesses, property owners, residents, and visitors, and to encourage the economic, cultural, and social vitality of the township through increased marketing and visibility, improved and renewed infrastructure, and local business development and engagement. The Millburn SID is one of approximately 100 in the state and is one of 29 designated Main Street, New Jersey communities. At this time, I'd like to begin. You want to do roll call first?
Yeah.
Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
These mics are not helpful. Let's do it without them. Jackie Lieberberg,
Here.
Christine Best,
Here.
Omar Buckingham,
Here.
Ashley Schultz, Ben Stoller,
President and accountant.
Alex Zaltzman. He'll be here in a few minutes. Richard Wasserman.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We will begin by the swearing in of Miss Best to a one-year term as mayor's designee.
As well as Omar.
Take your time, get yourself settled.
Okay.
Do we do this individual?
No, together.
So you have the script in front of you if you want to follow
Okay.
along with that.
Okay, wait one second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
And
thought
Omar as well.
Do you want me to do them at the same time or you want?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
That's okay with you?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
that we have Alex Altman, so we're gonna do that separately?
We'll do them separate.
Okay.
Should you guys stand up front and do it?
Yeah, you wanna,
Yeah.
or I tell you what, I will stand in a place where you can see me. And
Yeah,
then you can do
because
this
that way people can
collectively.
see.
Yeah, go ahead. Move to the
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
You guys wanna,
It's
up to you.
Oh,
Take
my
center
God,
stage.
right.
I gotta do it over those.
Okay.
Follow along.
Just raise your right hand and follow along with me.
Okay,
I state your name,
I, Christine Best,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established
to the same, to the governments established
in the United States and in this state
in the United States and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of the Millburn-Short Hills Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees,
of the Millburn-Short Hills Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God, if you
So
like.
help me God.
So
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
if the two of you would please pass that form to Tom Slattery.
Once you
Yes,
sign.
Once
yeah,
you sign it,
yes,
they'll
sir.
attest it. There's a second page, which is the conflict of interest form.
Fine.
Great.
Okay.
So you'll keep the first 4 pages and you'll return the 5th page to me. And then the board responsibilities document, you keep for yourself.
Right, that's the one you went over, yeah, I think.
And then you have all your paperwork for the year.
Okay, so when Mr. Zaltzman arrives, we will proceed with his swearing in. May I have an approval of the minutes? So the December 18th, 2025 public session as corrected in attachment 1. Mr. Grillo, you want to explain that, and then we'll have a roll call vote, correct?
Sure, yeah, so we have 2 sets of minutes for this evening. The second one is from last month. But the December 18th, 2025 meeting, we had a closed session and a public session. I unintentionally omitted the action that was taken at the end of the meeting. I wrote it in the closed section, but I didn't put it in the public. It was for the original minutes left out the approval of the 2026 contracts for Radiancy Communications, that's Michelle Lemieux, who's our marketing assistant. Creatives by Corinne, that's Corinne Mahoney, who's our marketing director, and Mr. Slattery's firm, Cooper LLC. So those were reflected in the closed session minutes that we discussed it. Those minutes have been published. The public session minutes were incorrect, so there's no material change other than we just added the language because the action was already taken and approved. So all I need you to do is just reapprove the December 18th, 2025 minutes, and then you can take a separate vote on January 26th, 2026. So it'll be 2 separate roll call votes.
Okay, may I have a roll call vote to approve the
Motion first.
may I have a motion to approve the amended December 18th, 2025 minutes?
Motion.
May I have a second? May I have a roll call? Now,
Jackie Lieberberg,
yes,
Ben Stoller,
Affirmative.
Richard Wasserman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. May I have a motion to approve the January 26th, 2026 minutes? May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote?
Jackie Lieberberg,
Yes,
Ben Stoller,
Affirmative.
Richard Wasserman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
okay. So
Um,
why don't we go to the treasurer's report and then we'll come back to the board chair report.
Sure. So treasurer's report, we got a bunch of stuff since it's the beginning of the year. The first is the approval of the 2026 assessment roll. So for those who are not familiar, the assessment roll is the document which actually sets forth how much each property pays for the year in its assessment, right? That is the added tax that funds the city. So the assessment roll was approved unanimously by the township committee at their meeting on February 17th. The assessment for 2026 will be $253,834, which is assessed at a rate of 0.001% of the assessed commercial value for a property. So for every dollar you are assessed, you pay 0.001% of that dollar. The bills went out last week and we should be collecting revenue by the end of March. And then we request payments on a monthly basis from the town, and then they just deposit in our bank account. So everything is going as it's supposed to go every year. So thank you to the township committee for the unanimous approval. Next, we're gonna move on to attachment 4 in your packets, which is the expenses through January 31st, 2026. January is never a particularly exciting month when it comes to expenses. But as of the end of the month, we had $29,307 in the bank, but we received $57,157, which is due to us as the town's contribution towards my compensation. So as of the date the report was run, February 4th, we had $87,461. So we're in a great position now that that money's in, and then of course, as I mentioned, the assessment will begin to come in. The town also reimbursed us for all of our 2025 expenses that were related to mainly Town Hall Plaza. There was a handful of other things, but that's been taken care of, so we've been made whole for 25. And certainly if there's any new members, or anyone has questions on the assessment billing or on the budget, we could talk after the meeting and discuss how we do it. But, everything is in good shape. Sponsorship report is attachment 5 in your documents. As always, this document is out of date, because we keep getting sponsors every day. So I don't think I've had a single meeting where which is a good thing. In the 2 days that we go from printing to meeting, we get more sponsors. So, we had a very successful meeting with past sponsors as well as current targets earlier this month. Thus far, we've secured 10 sponsors, and we have a dozen others that are in the works in various forms of negotiation. So Corinne and Michelle and I have been very busy with that. Our total committed as of today is 14,160. So I think we're doing really well. We also launched a new sponsorship level this year that we call Friends of Explore Millburn-Short Hills. This is $1,000 a year membership, this is probably the better way to call it. So we have businesses that are in the town, but outside the district, right? So Via Familia is an example of that. Hello, sir. You got an extra 10 minutes to be late.
I know, I tried.
It
was too fast.
Via Familia, business in the town, outside the district. We have a new one, Pilates Addiction Short Hills. Sponsor report.
Yeah, sponsor report.
On treasurer, under
President
treasurer.
treasurer.
So it's in the Hearth, which is the new apartment building where the Wells Fargo was. That property is not within the boundaries of the district, but they want to participate. So what we've done is we created a new level. You pay $1,000 for the year and you become basically a bid member. So you're entitled to all the different services that we have. Because when you sponsor, it's generally tied to events. This is a little bit more economic development, business assistance focused. And so it's been very successful, and I think we're gonna bring on a lot of new members at the $1,000 level this year. So, all good news there as well. So any questions about those 3 reports? Otherwise, I'll go on to the draft audit.
Can I ask a question on that?
Please.
That sounds really cool, by the way. On the Friends of Explore, so they're only committing to 1,000 annually, it's not quarterly assessed.
Annually.
And they get the same, I guess, services as another like tax-paying bid member in the.
Correct. So the way that we went through it is I looked at I took out the bottom 10% assessment payers and the top 10% assessment payers.
Okay.
I then found the average of the remainder.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And it's $960 something. So we just rounded up and we said 80% of the properties in the district, their average is about $1,000. So that's how we set the price at 1,000. We thought that was the fairest way to do it.
This is Pilates addiction, you're paying $1,000?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, my space is about 5,000. My space is about 5,000 square feet, and my bill for Explorer is about $1,000. It's a little less, maybe a little less than that.
Okay, that makes sense.
It was a little lower, and then it went up to 5,000, so.
So I think I used obviously this
Yeah.
year's assessment roll to calculate what the average was, but I thought taking out the 2 extremes was good. You know, if you start averaging and you put in properties that pay $20,000, it skews everything. So.
They actually have less, they don't have 5,000 square. How many square feet is that?
No, it's not that big. I mean, it's
2,000,
probably 2,000.
2,500, so they're paying. So, you know, they're paying the same as I'm paying, but they have less square feet.
And the hope is that we drive them up through engagement to become sponsors.
My question is, what happens if a business moves in June?
We could prorate.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna prorate it, or maybe their cycle runs from June to June?
Let's see what
Something like
happens,
that.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
It's just something-
high-grade problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I mean,
but
from a
it's something to
bookkeeping
think about,
perspective,
certainly.
from an accounting perspective, it's easier for us to prorate because
Okay.
our fiscal year ends on December 31st. So it's just easier for me to know that that money's in, it's done, it's accounted for.
And it's truly a testament to the value that we bring down as well, that people are willing to pay into and be a part of it.
Because you gotta remember, the boundaries of our district, when they were drawn, are only on the B2, B3, and B4 districts. So there are properties that are businesses, but they're not in the district because they're not zoned that way. And some properties, I believe the Hearth property, because it's part of the affordable housing settlement, wasn't included in the bid when it was originally drawn. So the commercial properties, or commercial businesses on the first
Well,
floor.
the heart didn't exist when the bid.
Right, but I believe when the settlement was done, they were exempted. And so even though geographically they're in the downtown, they are not within the district boundaries. And so we needed to find a way to try to get those additional businesses in, and obviously it generates revenue for us.
But reasonable, I mean, it's reasonable, I mean, it's mathematically, I mean, you know, they're paying more than that, they're paying more than I'm paying for, on a per square foot basis.
But I think also, you know, we probably have 8 or 9 of them in the pipeline right now. This could be an extra 10 grand for us straight away.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, should any of this be formalized? Like, should there be like $1,000? This is what we're offering.
Already done.
Already done.
Already done. Yes, everybody gets a sponsor packet. We have three levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and then a Friends of Explore is like the 4th level. And so they get a chart, it shows them what they're eligible for, what they pay for, and every sponsor gets it.
Did you tell them what you raise at dinner? Does everyone know?
Oh, no, at the dinner, or early February, we got 7,000 in commitments that night.
That was a dinner.
Thank
That
you.
was sponsorship? That's-
Yeah, that was
okay,
that night,
that's
yeah.
great.
And that group was very enthusiastic, and I really commend, Steve, Jack.
It's a lot of money.
I mean, a very enthusiastic group that wants to do more with us.
Why don't you announce that?
Yeah.
Corinne has even better news.
Yeah.
And I just got an email when I was walking in here, we just got another commitment for a Girls Night Out sponsorship for
great.
1,500, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can add that to
Yeah,
the
these
14,000 total, yeah.
dollar amounts, like, just in the context of me as a business owner in town, what we spend on marketing, right? I mean, $1,000 a year, provided that there's, you know, stuff that are being done for $1,000 a year, it's like, you know, it's reasonable. It's not nothing, but it's reasonable. I mean, you spend $1,000 a month just on Facebook ads.
Right.
You know, so, you know, provided that there's value behind it, there's things that are happening, you could be promoted, there's, you know.
Well, the Instagram and the
Right.
Facebook
But
and
that's what we wanna do, that's called economies of scale, we're able to provide a lot of services and not have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what you wanna incentivize people to join.
And that's where the Friends of Explore level came from, is that we were getting calls from people who said, you know, the events may not be great for my business, like tabling and things, doesn't really suit my clientele, or we really need business services as opposed to event visibility. And so we wanted to find something that could help that need, and I think that's coming up well. So it's gonna be a good experiment this year.
And Steve, let's say as this goes forward and we get more and more successful with the sponsorship, do we have like is there a vision, of when we get to a certain point? I mean, if we bring in another $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in support gross, are we gonna focus that money on, putting it back into, marketing for the businesses or for the town?
Yeah, we put it into, anything we really want. I mean, we originally had that small grant program, Explore Refresh, which predates pretty much everybody except me, you and Jack. And, if we had that kind of surplus cash, right, because we're budgeting well, right, we're bringing in more than we're spending, we can then reallocate that money for future projects that need capital.
With the thing with signage, right, did you guys get your? grant
You were
for
doing signage and streets and.
Anything for,
and streetscape, and we,
I
yeah.
remember that, that was a while ago.
That's 2021.
Yeah.
Because we had a little extra cash, but in 24, we raised 49,000. In 25, we raised 51. So Ben's a math guy, that averages to 50,000. So, hopefully we're in that arena again, but that's a great amount of money to bring in.
Not to extend this conversation, but then what's next, right?
What's that?
A rewards program.
A rewards program.
Bid reward, friends of the bid, rewards program for residents. There you go. How much could you raise off of that? If that's something that we thought was palatable, yeah.
But Steve's not gonna be able to sleep at night. It's been like, all the friends of Explorer gonna be calling.
You're gonna
Just get out of your cell.
you get a loyalty, I mean,
I
not that I go to a casino all that often, but you get a loyalty program and
I want
Good to go.
dinner at this place.
That's an interesting idea.
That's what I do.
Okay,
Now we have to get to the boring stuff, the audit.
the audit, so, the acceptance of the 2025 draft audit, may I have a motion to approve?
Well, let me go.
Oh,
through
you
this.
wanna explain it
Yes,
first,
yes,
okay?
yes. So as you all know, as a 501c3 nonprofit, we are required both by state law as well as, and as a bid by state law and then our local ordinance, that every year we have to have audited financials. I have very little to report. It's a very strong financial position that we're in. Just for the sake of the public record, I do wanna, Mr. Feld actually made some comments on Facebook and asked some questions. So I figure I might as well answer them now, and then we don't have to do it next month. So we did have a surplus at the end of last year, but that's because we raised 51,000 in earned income, right? We don't go into the year knowing we're gonna make 51,000. We hope we do, but we don't know. And so it's not a reason to reduce the assessment or anything like that. It's discretionary income. It's not guaranteed, but it should be seen as a success, not a liability. So that was noted. The audit doesn't mention an appointment versus an elected board. As he asked, it's irrelevant to the financial position of the organization. And we've already litigated Bear Properties 1 and 2. So that question is moot in this regard. Additionally, the audit doesn't make any mention of Bear Properties 1 or 2 cases because we did not spend any of our own money on the defense. The town paid Mr. Slattery's firm on the defense. So it's not reflected in the audit because the money was never spent. So unless there's any other questions, it's a pretty straightforward audit.
This accounting firm, what's the,
Yeah, Wilcox and Company, yeah.
how do we find it, what's the value?
We put out an RFP, I guess, 3 years ago, 2023.
Right,
Yeah.
we switched.
We wanted to switch auditors. Our auditor was getting a little expensive. I think we were probably at 10,000 a year or something like that. We, I think, inherited our auditor, from the town.
Yeah.
When we were established. So we did a year, or it was really a year and a half audit because the way they originally did it was half of 2020 and then all of 2021. And then we decided to go out. We got that audit done, finished it, and then went out to RFP. We had maybe 4 or 5 proposals. These guys were by far the most cost effective. So they've done the last 3 years, if I recall. And I've been very happy with them, and there's a proposal to continue their services as the next attachment, but
What is it costing?
Yeah.
this year was 6,500, which is very reasonable, you know.
And originally we were thinking 10,000.
They do this kind of work for the
Yeah.
town?
Or
Like 400 per personal taxes. That's really reasonable.
It's very reasonable, and they're very good to work with. This year, you know, they send me everything in advance. I give them all the documents. They literally have every single receipt in a binder. They go through it, they spot check, they ask questions. Our auditor was out in 2.5 hours this year.
When it was just CPA?
His CPA, yeah. So we have to do 2 things today. The first is, if you approve this draft audit, I will then go and get the final. I'll then submit it to the state. It's required by our ordinance and state statute that bids submit it to the Department of Community Affairs, which we do every year. And then also, I would like you to consider extending the contract for 26, 27, and 28. They're proposing a $250 per year increase. So it would be $67.50 for 26, $7,000 for 27, and $72.50 for 28. And it's my recommendation that you do so. But we do need to take formal action on both items.
Yeah. May I have a motion to approve the 2025 draft audit as provided by Wilcox and Company?
Motion to do it.
My voting.
Well, you're not.
Yeah, oh wait,
You wanna
Sort
know?
in.
why don't we swear you in first?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Do you want to take a break?
You have to stand up front.
Okay,
I've
so
done this before.
We made
My
that go.
family's not here. I mean,
We can call.
the flowers?
We tried to get the governor, she was busy.
He's busy.
she,
She's busy.
the governor.
Do you have one?
she.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
when
Cheryl?
Yeah.
I'll take her.
Oh,
It's right in front of you.
You can follow along with the
Oh,
script there.
here
if
we
you
go,
want.
here we go.
Bob, you got Mike Cheryl over to this?
That's, I called them, they're super busy.
Is there a Bible?
Get her highlights.
Yeah, no, you're good, just raise your right hand.
Only the first step.
I state your name,
I, Alex Altsman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
the government established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the law.
I do further solemnly swear
I therefore solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of the Millburn-Short Hills Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees,
of the Millburn-Short Hills Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So I've got.
Congratulations.
All right.
Treasurer.
That's right.
So, and just for clarification, Alex was the mayor's designee last year in a 1-year non-voting seat. He is now in a 3-year voting seat as a tenant representative, and Ms. Best has replaced him in that
Wow.
1-year non-voting seat. So, same person, different seat. He looks the same.
Also,
did.
also compound.
You look the same.
You look even better.
Look even better now, that's right.
So-
What do you mean look the same?
All right, you look better. You look better.
I think you're sworn in, you look even better.
So just sign that and give it to Tom,
Okay.
and then we can have a vote because you're official. You may now call for your motion, Madam Chair.
May I have a motion to approve the draft audit, acceptance of the draft audit, 2025 draft audit as prepared by Wheelcots and Company? May I have a second?
Second,
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg,
Yes.
Ben Stoller, and Alex Zaltzman,
Yes.
and Richard Watson.
yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Yes. Now, may I have a motion to approve the proposal for audit services for the fiscal year 2026, 2027, and 2028 as provided by Wilcox and Company in the packet item number 7.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Quick question, Bill, did you look at, review this agreement?
Tom.
Or Tom, sorry.
Sorry. I looked it over. I have to do these audits and participate in them for all of my municipal clients. I don't see anything in there that looks different or surprising compared to what I see in all the other ones, so I don't have any issues to address.
All right, thank you, Tom.
And just, and so you know, Tom does sign off on the audit, that's already been transmitted to the auditor.
All
So-
right.
So this is a draft audit, right? Not the final audit? What does that mean?
All you,
What is draft audit?
draft audit means that you as a board have been presented,
Yeah.
you've reviewed it, I've told you about it.
Yeah.
You're good for me to submit it to the DCA.
Got it. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So once we approve it,
You're done.
accept it,
After that
accept
vote,
it,
you're
and then the report gets submitted.
They send me one without a watermark, basically.
And is it like regular taxes, April 15th is the due date or?
I send it immediately.
No, but I'm just saying, is that,
No, because, no, they can do them later. I mean, I know organizations that do it into June and July.
Yeah, like, well, are they filing quarterly, so we do?
So
Is it a
so
one-time
these
file?
are usually, I can't recollect the due date, but it's usually earlier in the year, like April 1st or something like that. Very often, especially in larger organizations, meeting that deadline becomes very difficult. So they end up doing an audit that is effective the date that it is finally submitted, which is sometimes in June or July later on after they've gotten all the documents together. For us, we have a relatively simple one compared to like large boards of education and things like that. So we can meet that deadline pretty easily.
Yeah, and just so internally you guys understand what I do with it. I close the books on the fiscal year within the first week of January. And so at that point, I call the auditor, we set a date, he comes in, he does it, within a week, he gives me a report, and that's why we're here in February. So it's pretty straightforward. I will tell you, we are actually one of the very few bids that actually submits the audit to the DCA. I would say 90% do not. So we're one
It's
of the
not
few.
required.
It's required. They just don't do it. And so we're, in good standing that way, because, when we do get state grants, right, like we got from Main Street, they look and see if we file their audit every year, which of course we do.
And Steve, one last question, do do we publish this on our website at some point?
Yeah, we're updating the website now with critical documents. We have probably 15 different documents that are going up. The audit for the year will go up once it's.
Have you had the same, just a random housekeeping, have you had the same CPA come, yeah,
Every
so
year.
there is continuity in the,
Yeah, he understands the, the way that a bid operates.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think sometimes it throws people off when they see very limited income, right? It only comes in sporadically, but it comes in big chunks. And then you have all these small expenses. But he understands it's how we operate. We had a motion on the floor by Mr. Zaltzman to approve the contract
for
proposal.
26, may I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Jackie Lieberberg,
Yes.
Ben Stoller, Alex Zaltzman,
Yes.
Richard Was.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Mr. Stoller, Township Committee report?
Yeah, I actually had a couple of reports here.
Great.
One is, I know I mentioned a long time ago or a couple meetings ago about the holiday decor lighting and trying to do that within the township committee. And I had mentioned that a few times ago at the township committee. And actually, I'm just so slammed with everything, but Jamie took up the reins to head that up, so he's gonna head it up for us, for the community. So big pat on the back for our entire team and to getting that pushed through, and it was unanimous. Second, I just wanna talk about just a great day we had here, meeting with Main Street America. They sent two representatives up, one from Houston, one from Boston, I believe. And then we had our local New Jersey Main Street support staff come out from Denville or Randolph, something out west. And we actually toured the entire city. We started toward Main Street from Dunkin' Donuts all the ways down. Had a great lunch at La Strada, and the feedback was just fantastic on everything that we're doing here in town. And they were very engaged, very positive. I think we were a couple points shy of being the highest level, accredited level.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a full update on that,
okay.
but we're doing really well, yeah.
Fantastic. So it was just a good moment with these guys, and they were very impressed by what we've been doing.
Thanks, Chris.
And then everything else. That's it.
You wanna give an update on who the national champions in football are?
Yeah, so we have national championships in Indiana University on 16 now. I went 16 now.
Well, cause you made an update last month, I wanted to make sure that you got this one.
We also
too.
did have an update on Jack Hughes on the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
Hughes
Yes.
winning the gold. On also too, that actually sparked something. I've talked to a number of businesses about doing we gotta get involved in offering venues to the teams and FIFA for the World Cup.
We are already moving on it.
So I came up with ideas of how do we offer that venue? Now it gets even better.
What do you got?
I was with my daughter at the mall. She was picking something up for our trip. And I was talking to one of the managers of one of the stores. They would like to sponsor it. You know, how do you put Rolex with cigars?
Mm.
So how do you put Brightland? Because they're gonna have a captive audience there for that, and it lifts the entire businesses up.
Yeah.
So kind of thinking about your mind as we do this, how can we start bringing some of these businesses together? Charlotte, here we go. We have a store downtown. There's different things we can do for local businesses that can really, lift the tide. A rising tide lifts all ships. We have a lot of ships that want lifting, so.
Yeah, so, you brought that up at the last meeting, and
Yeah.
I put Michelle on our team on that as an assignment, and, she's been speaking back and forth with the Short Hills Hilton, where we believe there's 4 to 5, maybe even 6 teams that are scheduled to
I was
stay.
told there was 5, but go ahead.
Yeah, so, we're in the ballpark there. So she's speaking with them on how we can do this coordination between local businesses and the folks that they are catering to. Additionally, we finally got a contact at FIFA New Jersey. And we're gonna be working with her probably to do some type of workshop for local businesses on how to, engage with the teams when they're here.
Perfect.
So we're offering that as a special service. So that is in the works. Hopefully, by the time we have our next board meeting, we'll have something set.
And in the same way that we provided, a coupon and just a shopping kit, can we get those to the mall at Short Hills with restaurant information for the teams to the?
Well, we're gonna do for the Hilton.
That's what I meant, I'm sorry.
Yes,
They got them
Yeah,
all there.
I didn't mean the mall, I meant the Hilton.
And the other thing too is, which is crazy, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. There's people renting their houses out for like $20,000.
I know.
It's crazy the offers people are getting for their homes.
And my neighbor rented out her house for like 50 grand. I'm saying somebody I know.
Someone could say that's.
Oh, yeah.
A person in the universe.
They're coming around,
No, I'm just saying, some
they-
people,
it's
like,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy.
I hope they all
I'm
signed
talking
up
about
for the
20 grand,
Airbnb.
20 grand for the week.
Oh,
Yeah,
because I was
so
like.
50 grand for the month would make sense.
Can I add
Oh,
a
please.
comment in? Steve, is it appropriate? I didn't want to interrupt anything.
Please,
Can I add
go ahead.
this? I was really, so, I mean,
Really?
obviously, I'm just getting up to
Really?
speed and you guys have so many things going on,
They have
so.
to register.
I was really excited, that's such a win with your idea on the FIFA, like at Taylor Park, I think it's amazing, and you said you secured that TV, like amazing thing, and so it's funny because I was just trying to think about how you can really make this even more and get more money focused on it in terms of marketing, because it's like almost like that moment that you have to really bring people in, even from other towns.
Yeah.
And your comment about the Short Hills Mall, I have no idea, because this is my first meeting. But so are there bigger brands that we can reach out to their PR teams, like in the Short Hills Mall, that can promote our town? Like, have we done that? Because I know we focus on the districts, but for the specifics of pushing tons of people into Taylor Park and really getting here and benefiting the local businesses in the CID, I was just curious if that's something you've done and
We
what your
haven't-
thoughts are on it.
We haven't
Yeah.
done it. I think it'd be great. I think Ben's point is excellent. Also, we also have to think about the infrastructure that they have at the mall. They've got so much signage and they have digital signs that can be changed. Like, it'd be great to advertise the World Cup final in downtown Millburn on those digital screens inside the mall. So it's all part of the process that we have with, starting with the Hilton. The next shift will be to the mall and just try to, keep going with all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's exactly the direction we want to go in.
I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the steeplechase races that happen in Fort Hills annually at Moreland Farms, but there's like there's thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people that come, they get on the train from like literally Hoboken, Jersey City, get drunk, ride the train all the way out, it's quite a spectacle actually. And I used to go to it when I was younger, but I'm just wondering, like, it's like, do you push people to come, as far away as like people that live in Jersey City and Hoboken to come to our event? And
It's like
get-
the hunt,
just because, I was out at an event in Maplewood at this church, and it was just a random vintage shopping event. That place was so packed. I mean, because they had all these vintage shops from Jersey City and then all these random people. I'm like, how are you in Maplewood? I was just thinking about how to draw more people into the town. So this becomes like a destination where you say, oh, I wanna go to Lambertville for the day, or, I wanna go down to Princeton and shop for the day, versus it always just being about, local residents,
That's a great idea, but I thought you were going to the beer truck for the.
You bring the beer.
All right.
For
I'll
the
be-
Taylor Park.
Well, no, I just, like, when they did the event in Taylor Park, like, maybe it can be more glammed up, because it's a bigger event, I don't know.
Or maybe we could have some type of award ceremony for,
Oh, I love that idea.
maybe an award ceremony in Taylor Park where Explore gives awards to
Players.
the players of the teams.
Well, that's not.
It's just a little more work for you, Steve.
No, they're gonna be busy over at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah,
Playing the final.
I know, I'm just dreaming.
As much as they'd love a plastic trophy from us, I think they prefer the other
If
one.
you get a,
Well,
if you
no, I
get,
know.
I'm just kind of side, if you get a raffle license, maybe do some type of raffle or something like that as well.
Yeah.
And we do need to come to you guys for open consumption for that day in Taylor Park.
Very cool, that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, thank you for the thoughts on the regional outreach, be great if we can get people to take the train to come to Taylor Park, be awesome.
Before we continue, I just also want, there's a resolution to move the meeting from September 24, 2026 to September 17th. May I have a motion to approve that resolution?
What's the problem with the date?
Yeah, that was, we discussed that at our last meeting, everybody was in agreement.
No, it's,
Oh, somebody else.
So,
We'll come up.
it's after the holiday,
Oh.
so. I'm sorry, the 17th is in between the holiday, the 24th is after the holiday. May I have a motion to approve moving the meeting from September,
Motion,
I'm sorry, from the 24th to the 17th?
motion.
May I have a second? Mr. Zaltzman is second. Roll call vote, please.
Jackie Lieberberg,
Yes.
Ben Stoller, and Alex Zoltzman,
Yes.
and Richard Wasserman.
Yes.
And since we're there, we also need to appoint a treasurer tonight.
Yes.
Um,
May I have a nomination for the appointment of a board treasurer?
And I make a motion to nominate my good friend Alex Saltzman, who was newly sworn, but has been a friend of the SCORE for many years. He's been an active supporter and advocate for SCORE and an all-around great guy.
Tug your ear if you want it.
Yeah.
Tug your ear if you want it, and I'll second. I second it.
May I have a roll call vote?
do you want to ask if anybody else would like to
Oh,
nominate?
yes, before we proceed, is there any other nominations for treasurer?
You said, did you hear that?
He's
No,
the
I said,
secretary.
did you hear that?
I said, oh man, I'm glad you're doing it.
Oh.
All right, so
Seeing none such, may we have a roll call vote with respect to the appointment of our board treasurer, Mr. Alex Zaltzman?
yes, Jackie Lieberberg,
Yes.
Ben Stoller, Alex Zoltzman,
Yes.
and Richard Wasserman.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you
just got a
very
new
much.
job.
Yes.
Go
Okay.
get in, please.
Same thing, though.
I'll get you a gilded pen to sign checks.
I still have my board of guided one, but it says president on it. Which is covered.
All right, now we are back in order, back to business administrative.
Administrative.
All right.
Well, first, let's welcome Mr. Buckingham to our organization here. And if you'd like to just take a few minutes and tell us all about you and how you, where you were prior to your tenure at Millburn Township.
Yeah, so just want to say thank you, appreciate the opportunity to be here on the board, be with you, present you with whatever the business administrator wants to share going forward and support you. Before coming to Millburn, I was assistant township manager with East Windsor, over by Princeton and Mercer County. And before that, I was with the County of Burlington Science Department, the purchasing division, doing bids and specs. So this was great opportunity. I'm really appreciative to the business administrator and township committee for the opportunity. And I'm happy to be here to help in any way that I can help.
Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And his predecessor, Tim Hoffman, if you remember, when he left, he was expecting a child. His son was born about 5 or 6 days ago. So baby and mom are doing well.
All right, can we send them a basket of some sort, or?
We can.
Can we send them a basket?
I'll send him baby clothes from, Yeah. I didn't say anything. It's not on the record. But yeah, he's doing well. I spoke to him, and so he's like all new fathers, very tired.
Like sleep.
Okay, Mr. Slattery, you want to give us a little Bear Properties case study update?
Sure,
Status
that,
update, please?
good evening, everybody, again. So with respect to the litigation itself, there's no change from the last time that we met. But there was a discussion at the last township committee meeting with the township attorney, Mr. Cantor, who explained that he had met, I think with the mayor as well, with the Bear Properties plaintiffs to try to discuss the status of the overall situation, see if they could resolve things, and then potentially make the proposed changes to the ordinance that governs this body. His summary was that it's not likely that they'll introduce something that would resolve the issues and amend the ordinance anytime soon. So I would expect that that may put, I don't know if that puts an end to the subcommittee that was created to do so, but for now, I wouldn't expect us to change any modes of our governance in the near future. there's any questions you guys have about that, I can handle some of that publicly. Obviously, I could do so via email or a memo or anything if you have any legal questions about what that means for us.
Does anybody from the board have any particular question that won't compromise confidentiality or,
Just a high level, like, is it, so this is done or is it appeal? I don't know.
So from our perspective, the case has been decided in our favor and no appeal has been filed.
I see.
So we don't have any further action to take.
Right.
The case, as we've discussed before, has some procedural peculiarities where orders have been entered significantly after they were initially decided, and so dates for appeals and dates for next actions are a little murkier than they would normally be in a case like this. But from our perspective, unless and until I see an appeal on a docket, I don't have anything else to do in this case.
Can you just explain for everybody, but I guess specifically, with Alex's question, the difference between Bear Properties 1 and Bear Properties 2 and why we're involved with number
Sure.
2 and not number 1?
So to start with the last part, the reason we're not involved in Bear Properties 1 is honestly that we just weren't included in case, right? It wasn't seen, we weren't deemed to be necessary to it at the time by the parties, and so we weren't brought in. Bear Properties 1 was a challenge to this statute that created this body. Bear Properties 2 was a challenge to the budget process and some other procedural things that the plaintiffs had thought were not done correctly. So Bear Properties 1 and 2 were handled, once Bear Properties 2 came along, they were combined for the purposes of administration, and there was one trial, one hearing that was held for both of them. And as of now, the ordinance was upheld in Bear Properties 1, and the other issues with conflict of interest were dismissed. And in Bear Properties 2, the court affirmed that we had done all that we needed to do under the enabling statute and our township ordinance in order to comply with our requirements under the budgetary issues and all the other things that have been challenged. So it was for Bear Properties 2, which was the case we were involved in, it was a full sweep for a dismissal of all the claims against us. That doesn't mean that the complaints go away, it just means that the case does. So I think the township committee and Mr. Cantor are trying to see if we can put to bed the need for any further litigation, which we have not been involved with at all.
And one other question, I genuinely don't know, is it possible that if the plaintiffs were to appeal the decision of Bear Properties 1, which we are not involved in, can they add us? Which would then cause us to defend ourselves again, or is that not how it works in appeals?
That's, generally speaking, that's not how it works on appeal. We wouldn't be involved unless there was something about Bear Properties 2 that was also appealed, and then potentially they could be heard at the same time, just like the initial cases were combined. So absent any kind of extraordinary circumstance, or us choosing to file maybe an amicus brief or something, which I don't think we would do, we would be involved.
In commercial litigation, which I don't know what this is, was, there's this question about legal fees. What happens to that when, someone files suit against you and you lose? Is that
Yeah.
something that is,
So under the American rule, under the American legal system, for the most part, parties are responsible for their own fees, unless there's a fee shifting statute, which you find like in the employment context frequently, or
contract?
yeah, or a contract calls for it,
Yeah.
or some other provision of
Yeah.
law can allow for it. Here, the only provision that would allow for it, which we've discussed in the past, would be sanctions for frivolous litigation or something akin to that. Now, I won't get into strategy on that in a public session, but I can tell you that there's still, those possibilities aren't completely foreclosed, but we'll have to discuss those on a strategic way, which we can't do in public session.
thank you, Mr. Slade. Appreciate it. Anybody else have any other questions, or we're gonna move on?
Thanks, Tom.
Corinne Mahoney,
Hi.
Marketing and Events Director, report and updates.
All right, so let me just touch on what's on here. So we have our 2026 event schedule. So if you go to attachment 8, it's our 2026 events. So it's a 2-page document. I think the first page is actually behind the second page is behind the first page. We have some exciting upcoming events. So we have some of our events that are our brand builder events, so these are the ones that we've done kind of every year. People, they know the events coming up, our name's out there, and people look forward to attending these events, so they know, bless you.
Thank you.
So they know Explore runs it, so we have our Girls Night Out, that's June 4th from 5 to 8 p.m. So that is going to be 90s music theme, we're very excited, and we're really focusing this year more on local shopping and dining. In the past, there's been a lot of thrills and freebies, and it's been such a fun event that we really want to try to drive home the point of getting people in the door to shop at our businesses and to support local. So that will be in June. We are doing live music again. There's a change, instead of it being Town Hall Plaza, it's going to be at the courtyard due to the construction. So it's going to have a softer feel, kind of like a jazz. So some more like intimate, calm vibes, and that's because it borders all the businesses right there, so we don't want to disrupt their business. So that will be in the summer. That's gonna be weekend nights from July 10th to September 7th. We're doing Halloween again. I think it's on a Saturday this year, so we're gonna do it slightly earlier in the day. We had a great turnout last year. It's one of those holidays that kind of speaks for themselves. The kids are coming, whether it's snowing or raining, they want their
It
candy.
was cold though.
Yeah.
That wind was crazy.
Yeah, for Halloween. That was, but even then, like, people still showed up, so,
What's the score? What's the?
Yeah, can you go through all that? Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
I actually am interested in hearing about all these.
oh, yeah, I can go through it all,
Yeah, no,
so.
sorry. it's just-
no worries.
we got some good
All right,
stuff on
so, yeah, so I have bird bingo on here anyway, so, starting tomorrow, actually, we're doing our bird bingo scavenger hunt. So let me go talk, we're doing a shop and stroll series. So that is more of an idea. It's gonna be a series with, multiple events in it. And that's to, again, get people kind of walking and shopping in the downtown, and in our other areas to see kind of what we have to offer. Because sometimes people, they come, they do a cycle bar class and then they leave, or they come, they eat at moonshine, then they leave. So if we have events with kind of some incentive, there's some exciting things happening, come, stay a while, do some things. So we have our bird bingo scavenger hunt, so that's starting tomorrow, and it's going to March 27th. And this isn't like a one-day event, come do some things, it's kind of like an ongoing thing. So the Cora Hartshorn Arboretum and Bird Sanctuary, this was their idea. They partnered with us and they made a bingo board. And they've reached out to a bunch of local businesses who've agreed to participate. They get a little slot on the board, they go to this business, they mark it off with a little sticker, and then when they get a bingo, so at least 5, they submit it, and then they're entered into a raffle to win a prize from the participating business. So it's a really great way to, it's helping promote the Arboretum, and then it's helping promote these businesses. If you have to go in to get it crossed off, hopefully, you're gonna shop around, you're gonna talk to the business owner, talk about the event. And then if you're a winner in the raffle, then maybe you'll win a gift card, so go back and shop, or you'll win a gift from them, which gets them on your radar.
Where do you get this bird bingo card?
So they're gonna be in all of the participating businesses. So the Arboretum staff, they went today and they dropped them all off. And we also posted it on Instagram, and then there's a PDF link on our website. So that link is also in our Instagram bio. People can go print them at home or grab them at the stores.
So when you, and this is a great idea, when you guys, like, how are people gonna know to go, I mean, besides just on social media for the people that is there any way we can send out like an email, like, I mean,
Well, it'll be on the
town.
Friday, it'll be in the
And the
township.
Friday.
Yes, I actually sent out an individual
Okay.
email just for this to our mailing list yesterday morning. So that went out to like 3,800 people. Yeah.
Okay, so it's only Explorer's mailing list, it's not,
Yeah.
we can't utilize the township because they haven't opted in.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't
Correct,
know
yeah.
what the rules were in 501(c)s.
Yes, so, and we partnered with this organization, so I believe they're also sharing it with their community, it's on their website as well, their social.
Sounds
so-
fun.
Yeah, it should be fun, so if you have the opportunity, definitely go shop. So that is a part of our overall shop and stroll series. And then April 24th, that date is not finalized, but most likely around that date, we're going to do drop dine and shop. So that's an idea, we're partnering with some of the local child businesses, so I believe, what are the ones we have, Genius Gems?
Genius Gems,
What night
Curious
of the week is
Kids.
Beyond Young. This is a Friday, but we might switch it to a Saturday depending on just the preferences of parents and the businesses. But this idea is we're gonna provide kind of like the child's care, but it's gonna be kind of like some sort of enrichment with our local tutoring companies. And they're going to, spend time with the kids, and the parents can go and they can have a nice dinner
That's a great idea.
at a restaurant in town and do some shopping.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
like
So
spirits
I-
going.
And we'll pay the cost of the
Yeah.
shop.
Okay. And are you guys doing, like, are you picking like 3 locations, or are you gonna focus it like, is it gonna be primarily, like, is there, like a coding area over on Upper Millburn Avenue? Like, I was just wondering, are you doing one by the train station? What's your
Yeah,
what's
we
your
reached out to
perspective?
every single child-oriented business.
Okay.
That's why we don't have a final date
Oh,
yet.
cool.
We're actually getting feedback from people about what days and hours work for their staff. So, we have a big matrix of who's available, at
Got
what
it.
date, and how much it's gonna cost, and we're gonna try to narrow that down, but, yeah, so we're reaching out to every single business, and so Morris Turnpike has a bunch. Upper Millburn has the Coder School.
Awesome.
Young,
Pop-up,
yeah.
A ton in downtown, none off the top of my head in Chatham Road or Wyoming, but, I could be wrong, but
Yeah, that's right.
there's probably 15 or 20 we've reached out to. Obviously, we can't do all 15 or 20, so we're gonna have to whittle this down, but the hope is that we do this as an experiment, and then we can do another one in the fall.
Yeah, we actually have a date for that in the fall, potentially going to be September 26th. So say we have 7 businesses interested, but we only partner with 3, hopefully we can partner with the other 4 next time, depending on how it goes.
Or
Or
a dog sitting one, just kidding. Yeah, I think it's really good.
for pet parents, I love it, yeah, or like if we get enough interest, then maybe we could partner with all 7 at once, because we have enough parents who wanna drop off their kids, so that should be
Cool.
super cool, yeah. And then, like I said, June 4th is Girls Night Out, which we're definitely looking forward to. And then for the FIFA World Cup, we've already started doing lots of planning with that. I think Steve's gonna speak more on that. But the kickoff is June 11th, so we're hoping to do some sort of event. We've been talking with a couple businesses about maybe hosting something there, like a watch party or even some sort of themed event. So we're gonna do something for that. We're doing a kids soccer skills day, most likely on June 20th. So that is partnering maybe with like a sports organization in town, or another one of the kids businesses, or even like an athletic company, or like a fitness studio to kind of do some soccer skills, like some training and some drills. And then there's a lot of opportunity for other businesses to partner. Someone can sponsor, little towels or water bottles. We can have some businesses on the sideline teaching kids about exercise and health, and we can, so there's a lot of cool opportunities for that day. And then the 19th, as we've discussed, is gonna be the final viewing party, and there's a lot of opportunity with that. We're gonna hire like a band to perform kind of during the halftime when there's a lull. Trying to get some local restaurants to kind of offer food options to purchase. I think we've been talking about showing a movie after, so a lot that can happen with that day. And then within that World Cup, we're gonna try to do some watch parties at some of the local restaurants. So we could like maybe see if Guacamole wants to host some of the Latin American games, do a watch party, or if Mrs. Lynn wants to, if China's in it, they wanna, host the parties for that. So we're working with that. That's a TBD, but a lot of fun ideas there. And then, like I discussed, the live music at the courtyard. Like I said, it got moved from Town Hall Plaza to the courtyard, so that's gonna probably look a little bit different than last year because we don't have as much space. And it can't be kind of as loud because all the businesses kind of border it. But I think it'll still be, people loved it. We had some people who came every single weekend, every night. And I did surveys at the end of the summer, and we had someone who came from upstate New York, and they came like 3 times because they
Really?
discovered it and they're like, this is great. And they came back a couple times, so.
Would you guys ever add a wine tasting in too, and see if like a vineyard would like into the courtyard moment? I was just curious. I'm not trying to make you like
No, yeah.
complicated. I just was just wondering
We've
if
done
like
it
some
before.
vineyards like want to promote themselves and might.
Yeah, we have multiple
Especially
wine
this town.
shops in town.
Yeah, so we did a cigar night with Tonino,
What a nice
2 years ago. Remember that storm that blew in? Holy smoke, it was great until all hell broke loose. So we've done that. Don't know if we've done a wine night. I feel like we may have, but yes, we can absolutely do that. It's much easier if there's no selling, because then you don't have to go into the permitting process like you do, but, yeah, we could absolutely do something like that. In fact, Town Hall Plaza last year, we probably had maybe up to 10 individual specialized events that businesses came to us and said, you guys manage the space. Can we participate? We said, of course, it's included in your bid assessment. So if you want to do a wine tasting, great. Just let us know, we'll coordinate everything. So we can absolutely do that.
We do have vineyards, isn't what like.
Well, just bringing in like, I mean, I know at our club we had some of these like different vineyards would come in, and they used to do a really big one West Orange, but I'm trying to, I mean, I might be able to, I might be able to talk to some people and help you guys on that project later if you decide to do it or not.
I'm sorry, bring us from New Jersey or talking about?
there's
No, just,
California?
there's distributors, like, so there's
Oh, they
distributors
represent
that
vineyards,
manage
right,
like multiple vineyards,
Right,
and
right, I get it.
what'll happen is they'll be able to come in and
Yeah, I get it.
bring like, you know, 5 like Sonoma vineyards in or whatever and then taste, and sometimes they'll do it for free, I mean, sometimes people pay a fee and that's really up to you guys, but, you know, I just was thinking, like, I know this is so cheesy, but in the Newcomers Club, this woman, Margaret, used to have, you probably remember this, cause I don't know. Like, she used to have a wine tasting thing, and she would talk through, like, you know, sort of all the tasting skills, and it's just kind of a great way, and it's even a great thing to do, like, in a store like Shalala, like, in terms of, you know, it's a distraction, but then you can also kind of shop at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea.
Drink and spend.
Yeah, we do, and we always wanna open that up to our local businesses first, because we do have some wine stores in town.
There's a local.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
There's a
Yeah.
local, there's a local guy who's Singer Wine, he's up at the Boxcar, he's always there, he has, you know what I'm talking about? He has the Singer Wine or whatever, I think that's his name, but he's always there. There'd be plenty of people if we wanna go down that.
Yeah, we could go to our 3 wine
He
stores in
owns,
town
he owns a
first,
winery.
offer them.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, but that's typically how we do it, so you're on the right path, it's just that's how we typically end it.
Alright, let me finish going through the events, so the next page, August 20th, back to school sidewalk sale, so that is another part of the shop and stroll series, so that is just encouraging all the businesses who have kind of, you know, like clothing, or maybe some school supplies, or toys, or some, to kind of do like a sidewalk sale, so everything kind of out on the sidewalk, so, you know, if parents are with their kids shopping, it's kind of easy to see what we have to offer. And then August 26th is Dog Day, so we were thinking some sort of Dog Day afternoon sidewalk sale. We haven't quite decided the logistics of that, but we do have some pet businesses in town, so I know I already talked to Veg about it, they were interested in doing something. So something kind of along the same lines, kind of walk and stroll and bring your dogs for the day, it could be something fun. August 27th, kind of another back to school sidewalk sale, that's just 1 week after the prior, so that we're kind of capitalizing on our people away, so trying to capture everyone. And then another drop down and shop in September, and then October 3rd, we're hoping to do a flannel fest, and that'll be kind of like a sip and stroll, so hopefully we'll able to do like an open consumption area for the day. And because, you know, it's fall, people love, you know, like dressing up in the flannels, going to an apple orchard, picking apples, so kind of bringing that into town. So we can have some fall activities, some photo booth areas, we could do, you know, like, I don't know, like painting pumpkins or apples, or just trying to get people in, but, you know, hang out for an afternoon in Millburn and wear your
Sort of
flannel.
like October.
Kind of like that, yeah, kind of like that, yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Bringing in some fall, people love that,
They
especially
do.
in Jersey, like, who loves stuff like that, so.
You know how there, a lot of the real estate brokers always have like, you know, the free pie fest and the free like pumpkin fest and, you know, different people's homes. I forget the historic house on Highland they always do it at, but I was just curious if there's a way they could centralize that and bring all the pumpkins to you guys and.
It could be something worth
I don't
asking,
know.
we have a lot of real estate agents in
Yeah.
town, yeah.
Like
But,
Do you have a location for that flannel fest, are you
Yeah.
thinking?
that's
TBD.
yeah, maybe like Milburn Ave, or, yeah, we still have to figure it out, cause that's part of having the space, so.
Mhm.
But the idea is to get people still in the shops shopping, so probably more the downtown area. And then Halloween, we're hoping to do again, it was fabulous last year, a bunch of us were there. And then it's gonna be on a Saturday, I believe, so kind of a little bit more in the morning, so hopefully it will be a little bit warmer. And then we're hoping to do maybe some sort of pumpkin spice stroll kind of tied into that, so that would be like working with the coffee shops to offer like a pumpkin spice coffee, so it's like, oh, let's go to all these coffee shops, and that could be the whole month of October. But just going and trying different places to bring in another element instead of just, you know, the stores, like the coffee shops as well. And then Santa's mailbox promotional and contest, this was a pilot for this last winter and it went very well. We had probably over about just under 200 entries.
200.
And so what it was is basically we gave envelopes to people and we put this mailbox kind of on the corner of lot 1 where the big clock tower is. And we said, all right, if you do any shopping between Black Friday and the end of the year, put all of your receipts in an envelope, write your name and info on it, and put it in the mailbox, you're entered to win a raffle. And we had probably over, I think it was $48,000 worth of entries. So people did $48,000 worth of shopping and then entered it into this raffle, which I think is pretty
Well,
good.
it's visibility, it's a success, right?
Exactly.
We always talk about, no one wants to talk about, you kind of backdoored it to that visibility.
You know, we made it very easy.
Yeah, so.
And we, a lot of them, business owners themselves
Mhm.
said, give me the receipt, I'm putting it in the envelope. And then a couple times a week, they took it themselves. So took the onus completely off the customer, which I think was a great thing, you know.
Did people like the prizes?
Well, yes, I mean, when we say we'll give you $50 gift card anywhere you want,
Yeah, gift card of their
Yeah.
choice to business
love
in
that.
town,
Yeah, I
so,
like
it was
that.
great.
and then it supports putting more money back locally.
And a lot of goodwill, you know, when we called people up, you know, we didn't do emails, we called people, spoke to them, and you know, people were really thrilled.
Just like the publisher's clearinghouse.
Exactly.
You can check $50 gift card check back on the door.
Who's that? Was that Ed McMahon?
Do we know how many individuals participated for the $48,000?
So we didn't limit it to, if you could enter multiple times, so if I had, you know, if I shopped one day at Shawla's and then I shopped another day at Moonshine, like I could do 2 separate entries. So I think we had like 115 people and like
Maybe a
200
little bit more,
entries.
yeah, it was definitely north of 100
Okay.
of individuals who did it.
Did we capture emails and stuff?
We did, yes, so then they got
yeah.
added to the mailing list.
And
That's worth it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Data, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
That's
proof, data.
yes, exactly,
Build
so,
the list.
and then they get emails about more events, and then they can invite their friends, and it grows, so
Just keeps
that's the
going.
goal, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then last event of the year that we have planned is our Winter Villages Igloos and Fire Pits. We're making the change, instead of 2 weekends, we did a Saturday night and then another Saturday night. We're just gonna make it 1 weekend, just so it's back to back, just, you know, make it more concise and keep the momentum going for like 1 whole weekend instead of being like, oh, it's this Saturday and then next Saturday. And I think we saw upwards of about 1,300 people last year, which I think is wonderful. And it's a great community event. We set up the fire pits, and the igloos, and people come, and it was a great way for, we had a lot of new businesses get involved as sponsors for igloos, and then just kind of, you know, learning about Explore, and that's kind of
There's something in my eye. You talk about holiday decor.
And that's part of the reason what led to the Friends of EMFH sponsorship, because we had a couple people reach out because of this event saying, hey, how do I get involved in more things for more events? So we're definitely looking forward to that. It might look, it's probably gonna look a little different because we can't do it at Town Hall Plaza again, so we're figuring that out. Yeah.
Have you guys ever done movies at all, like, you know?
Yes, we've done some in the summer at the Town Hall Plaza because we had like the really nice setup for it.
I mean, like, Christmas, I was talking like Christmas and Hanukkah movies in particular, like, I don't know if there's, you know.
Where would you have it though?
Right,
No,
because it's
I don't know where it would
outside.
be, I just was asking when you did the Winter Villages, it's like, you
Yeah.
just did it, maybe it's too cold.
It's
I
hard
don't
because it's
know.
cold, people
Yeah.
come, they huddle around the
Right.
fire, they
They
talk
get
talk
their
for
drinks
fire.
and get out of there.
And it's
Yeah.
and it's freezing. It
Yeah.
was
It
freezing.
was cold.
I was just curious.
So,
whether-
It's a,
Yeah.
it's a fun idea, we did talk about doing
Yeah.
some sort of stuff, but if
Too
you can't
long.
keep people outside for too long, especially a lot of little kids.
Limited. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Local weather.
Mhm.
Can I just ask a quick question on the back to school and the sidewalk sales on the dates, like the cause I love, this is all really exciting and I wanted to ask you, I obviously am not very familiar about foot traffic downtown and like I'm doing, but you know, so many people blow out those 2 weekends, particularly for Labor Day. I mean, however, when does the school go back? What date does Wilbur High go back?
I think
Because
it's
I think the time.
around
September
Labor Day.
2nd, 3rd.
So, okay, I just,
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's right
sometimes
after-
some schools go back early, I have no
No,
idea.
we don't go
Like,
back,
okay.
we go right after the
So,
holiday.
do you think, and also, I mean, is that going, I mean, and Vicky, you know, obviously, but you don't have a lot of kid stuff, I mean, younger kid stuff, but like, you know, back to school type of product that's more sort of commercial and maybe lower price point, but do you think those are the best weekends to target that? Cause a lot of people start to do back to school shopping like in late July, and I was just trying to
Yeah.
wonder. I
We're going
if
back
that was a
to-
better window, and
We've-
do we have enough businesses that are like back to school type businesses to really push that?
So we went back and forth on that multiple
Yeah.
times about the date, it's just
Yeah.
during the summer, this is a town where a lot of people are down the shore, or there's not, it's quieter in the summer.
I see.
So trying to do a sale is not always, like in the middle of July, there's not that many people people around.
So in a way,
So-
they're like coming back. and all that
Exactly,
school.
so we
Okay.
did go back and forth, we were like,
Okay.
is this a good date? That's kind of why we did do the
Got
two
it.
different weekends to try and capture people who were like not home, because a lot of people are traveling that last week. But a
Okay.
lot of people are back like by August 27th, so that's kind of the main reason, but we are flexible if we think it could be a different date,
No, I
but
just, curious,
Yeah.
and that, I mean, you know the town better, I mean, like I don't have kids in school, so.
Yeah.
So.
and I think, I mean, there are a lot of businesses that do offer like kid themed things, like I know last year, the Pokeball place, they had all those like Labubu ornament things, like keychains that kids love, they had them in the window, like the kids wanted to get them for back to school. We had like Sugar Bear, which with all the candy the kids wanted to get, like Marina's Treasures also had the Labubu, so. Kung Fu now has like the video games in their store, so they're trying to push more things towards kids, so I think there's a
Yeah.
lot that
And
can be.
I mean, you just brought up a really good, interesting idea that you were talking about, because like, are there any merchants that will actually buy inventory on products such as what you were stating? That like is the hot item that like a bunch of kids are gonna come downtown for, like, I was just curious if they would take that risk upon themselves if you convince them.
No.
Okay, no, I'm just asking, I mean, if
Well,
I knew it
and
was gonna
speaking as a,
sell.
not to interrupt,
Yeah.
speaking as a business, I know what my customer base
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I don't necessarily know that I'm gonna wanna spend an extra,
Yeah.
couple $1,000s on an if, and then I'm
Yeah.
stuck with it.
Yeah, well, that's true, I mean, you have to know, and it would be
Yeah.
more of a kid's business, but I was just, you know, like.
But there's a
felt
couple
like-
stores that are geared
Yeah, that's
Right,
right.
for sure.
But those are the stores where the kids are going in after school every day,
Yes,
so they say,
yes.
hey, I know what the kids
Like
want, they're already
paper
here,
and
let me
wrap,
help
yeah.
these things. So I think it just depends on the business. So yes, all right, let's go to the next thing. So next we have Film Ready New Jersey. So Film Ready New Jersey, it's a statewide certification program run by the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission. So basically it's New Jersey, there's a lot of film happening in in New Jersey, and it's kind of up and coming. I know Netflix is building a new studio, there's a bunch of new studios going in. And this is a very lucrative place to film because we have the beach, we have the mountains, we have farms, we're really close to the city. We have a lot of options. So New Jersey's kind of tried to streamline this process and make it kind of like one across the board way for production companies to come in and kind of know what they're getting into. So we have started the process to become a part of this community. It's a 5-step process. We did the first one, which is kind of go to an information session, learn about it, and then meet with the people who run it. So we've done that, and then they provided us with a draft internal redlined ordinance, so with some suggestions of kind of what changes we would need to make to be in compliance with their program. And then we brought this to Alex earlier this week, and he brought up some questions about like the ordinance changes. So, and then we met with the team again today, and we brought up the concerns that we had about making these changes. So right now, we believe that the required ordinances that we'd have to amend or put into place in order to be compliant with the standards, we think that they would require giving up too much local control and that they don't offer enough oversight and regulation of the filming that would happen in town. So therefore, we have decided we're not going to pursue changing the ordinance and trying to get the designation. Because like we said, we'd lose too much local control of the filming that would happen.
Essentially, you can't deny a film application, which
Yeah.
is problematic.
So and they will not negotiate with you and do any redlining on that contract, it's like a do or die. cut
Yeah,
and
the
dry.
contract, so there's two major sticking points. The first is, essentially you cannot deny a permit. B, or two, is, the fees that are, required. We have existing fees in our filming ordinance. We would have to reduce them sometimes by almost 90%
Oh, wow.
to comply with the state rule. So we had an hour-long conversation today, and I decided that I did not think that politically it was good for our township committee to entertain this, but also just operationally, it didn't make sense. However, even if you're not designated, Corinne can tell you what we can do,
Yeah.
which is a nice aspect of the program. So we will be participating, but not participating as a full-fledged member.
And there is a
I see.
process to go through and get your permit to do a film in
Sure.
our town
Yeah.
and still be accountable. I mean, every time I do a film on my block, it's crazy. Like, the last one was the guys from Schitt's Creek. What was the guy's name? Levy,
Yeah.
Gene and his son Jay.
Yeah.
And they blocked
Yeah.
us up for a week, and you wanna start
Go
seeing
longer
residents get a
complaints.
little
Testing.
tested.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like,
That
we
makes
couldn't
sense.
deny any of these. so we could,
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
a ton of them in all the
Yeah,
streets.
They
yeah.
had a good food truck though.
That program is designed so that the
They didn't
sites
give it,
are
I
ready
saw,
to
I saw
go
myself.
already. So that's the reason why the fees are reduced and the permits are granted much more easily is because towns are supposed to prep those locations so that they're effectively ready to go whenever the production truck is there. That's different than when a location scout comes out and says, this would be the perfect exterior for our, you know.
Home Alone
Exactly, precisely.
But
That's a different
Yeah,
set of.
And you also get to negotiate the prices too.
Exactly.
I mean, the
Yeah.
church got a brand new, they redid their garage,
Yeah.
their barn, and it was nice. So it's a win-win, but to give them unabated run of the town.
So, you know, Tom's point, ideally, right, you've got a dozen high priority locations that people can look at. But that doesn't preclude people from just going to 1, 2, 3, you know, Oak Street and filming, and then going to the neighbor, and all of a sudden you can have 4 houses having different film shoots all at once, and no ability to deny those permits. Because once you enter the program, you essentially give up all control. So I think personally, it's a flaw in the system. I don't think it's thought out particularly well, but I think we did a tremendous amount of research. I want to give Corinne a lot of credit. She really worked on this for the last 3 months, but
Thank you.
so at this point, there's a database. You can upload locations that scouts can choose, but also services like a dry cleaner, food, barber shops, things that may be needed by the crew. So in the chance that someone comes to Millburn and wants to film, they can search through that database and find those resources. So we don't have to give up the control and change the ordinance, but we can still participate. So that's the way that we're gonna proceed going forward.
Do you need a committee to get all that stuff uploaded? It sounds like a lot of work.
No, actually, we have a volunteer who's
Oh,
actually
that's great.
just graduated from film school. So we're
That's
gonna
awesome.
bring her
Yeah.
on and she's gonna do that work for us.
That's great.
Yeah, so you know, all right, so that is that. We already talked about Bird Bingo, which is fabulous. Paper Mill Playhouse.
Yeah, I'll handle that. So couple quick updates. Paper Mill Playhouse, if you guys remember, last year they came to us and asked for matching funds for a state marketing grant that they were applying for. We committed $1,875. The Chamber of Commerce has the same match as well. So those local matches allowed them to get the grant. And so they are moving forward with it. I processed the invoice today. We'll get that to them. The goal of that campaign is to use digital marketing and traditional marketing to reach out to residents of Hudson County, Manhattan, Brooklyn, try to encourage them to take the train to Millburn. And so there'll be a whole campaign that they're releasing. We'll be playing a part in that, but that's moving forward. So they thank us for our support from last year. Then the next is the Main Street Pops World Cup contract. So you guys have that as attachment 10 in your packets. No action was required for Paper Mill because we've already approved that within our budget, so I just wrote the check.
Hey Steve, can I just ask one question?
Sure.
I mean, or I'll wait until you're done about your.
Please. No, we're here, go.
Okay. So on the paper law, I was gonna ask, have we ever gone, you already did this, but I'm just asking, have we ever gone out to Paper Mill since, you know, the township committee gifted, I'm not being grudgy about, gifted money to them, and then obviously, you know, matching on. Do they, in exchange for all of this, I mean, have we negotiated like rights to view at this time, like to their mailing list, their client base, and you know, have access to the cohort? Because I just wanna throw that out as something to think about in the future, because they've gotten an awful lot of money from us, and it would be very beneficial to have those people to draw, just to
We do
draw
a lot of
to.
collaborative programming with them, a lot of collaborative marketing. They also sponsor. So I think last year they were $2,500 to $3,000 sponsors last year. So they definitely contribute to explore.
Yeah,
The town's a separate discussion, but
yeah.
for us, they're a very equal partner.
And you should also understand that they bring 466,000
No, I know that, I'm
patrons
not,
to
I
town
agree.
and
I'm not-
actually eat at the restaurants, and the town would be blight without those patrons.
No, I'm not begrudging it, I'm
Well, it
just
sounds
trying to.
like you were, but.
No, I wasn't actually at all, what I was trying to say is, it's just that when we're in a moment where we're negotiating for that, can we just think about thing, like, people share their, mailing lists are very valuable, and, a cohort analysis is very valuable, and when we are in a position to give money, we should think about maybe doing that, like, if we decide to give money, it wasn't a criticism, it's just, cause I'd like to see, you have even more people on your mailing list, that's all.
Sure. So the next item, which is gonna require a vote.
Well, I
Okay.
don't know, I have a suggestion. I
Please.
don't know whether or not, from a legal standpoint, they could share their proprietary mailing list.
Right.
But what we could do is maybe on their next, whatever they're sending out their newsletter, we could have a link to explore for the restaurants or shopping, that we would encourage them before or after they take in the presentation at the paper mill to join us for a shop and dine.
Well, if you remember at our January meeting, we talked about our concierge document,
Yes,
which is going to do exactly that.
Yeah.
We're gonna be partnering with the Arboretum, Greenwood, the Hilton,
Right.
and Paper Mill. So that is underway.
So like you're putting a little flyer into a mail-in possibly?
Yeah, they can put it in their
I like
playbills.
Johnny's idea.
So Main Street Pops, I don't wanna spend too much time on World Cup because Corinne covered a lot of the details. But in this budget for 2026, the township allocated $30,000 towards the World Cup festivities. That is the money that was typically spent to support, Town Hall Plaza. So it's up to $30,000. Because we're not doing Town Hall Plaza like we did last year, we don't need the equipment, the chairs, things like that. We're gonna reallocate that to this effort. So that money's already been approved. Last June, I think, we had a consultant come in who was gonna assist us with the marketing, event planning, and day of support. Jackie and I went back and forth with that consultant quite a bit. We couldn't get to a point on the contract where we felt that the organization was properly protected in terms of exit and cancellation. So we went out and found another vendor who we've worked with in the past. Their name is Main Street Pops. They're based out of Jersey City. They've done events for us. They do a lot of events across the state, very well respected. And so they have provided us with a proposal to execute all the events that Corinne spoke about. And so tonight I am asking for your approval to execute that contract. It is a total compensation of $12,500. It will cover all the events as well as the planning, marketing, all the work that goes into it. They will start essentially effective tomorrow, because we need to get moving on this. It will be paid in monthly installments by the township, just like we do with other expenses. So Explore is not incurring any cost. This is township money. They'll submit an invoice. I will submit it to accounts payable. Accounts payable will pay it at the town. So it'll appear eventually on Ben's bill list. So this, we do this kind of stuff all the time where we know how to transact that funding. Jackie and I have reviewed the contract. Tom has looked at it. I think in terms of where we are, we're very happy. So it would be my request and my recommendation that we execute this evening so we can proceed with using this vendor.
so may I have a motion to approve the Main Street Pops World Cup contract, attachment number 10 in your packet? May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second? I second it. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Jackie Lieberberg,
Yes,
Ben Stoller,
Affirmative.
Alex Zaltzman,
Yes.
Richard Wasserman.
Yes.
Motion carries. Just a point of question, Tom.
Yeah.
Although Christine is non-voting, can she make a motion in a second if she wanted to? She can't vote on the motion, but can she make it?
I'm not sure top of my head. let me
I'm not
look
100%
and
sure
I
either.
answer, I don't, let's
You
not
can't, I
for
still
tonight.
have force, you can't make a motion, you can't,
Yeah.
you can't make a
Yeah, I don't
motion.
think you maybe.
I'm inclined to say no, but I don't wanna say no forever until I check, so.
Sure.
For tonight, let's say no.
For tonight, we'll say no. Ben covered the holiday decor committee. Michelle on our team is on it. Christine is on it, representing as a resident, not necessarily as an Explore member, but the two overlap. So we'll certainly get comments about that as that
Of the
moves
lighting.
forward. Yes. Then the last item of this section is the Public Art Master Plan RFP. So as you guys know, we receive a grant every year from Essex County. This year, they provided us funding to do a 5-year public art master plan. And so I developed an RFP, released it to about a dozen different consulting firms across the state and New York. The idea is to investigate locations that we can add public art over the next 5 years, mediums, engagement with the Asian community, accessibility for hearing impaired or vision impaired people. So I'm getting the RFP responses back. They're due tomorrow, close of business. Once I have them, I would like the design committee, which we'll talk about in a little bit, to actually review those RFPs, potentially interview the consultants they feel make the next round. And then by the end, by next meeting, hopefully we'll have a final recommendation to bring to the board. So I don't have all the RFPs in place right now. They're coming in by end of day tomorrow. And then we'll let the design committee do its work. So just wanted to bring you up to date. And that is all, that's part of a matching grant that we have with the county. So they gave us about 6,000, we put up about 6,000.
So it's 12,000.
Yeah, it's a little less. but-
Ballpark.
I'd say the Main Street America folks were lit up, only went to the art alley as well.
Yeah, the art alley's fun.
They were taking pictures, they were doing selfies, the whole bit.
Okay, then my report is the final report. So let me get to it. A lot of papers. So new businesses, closed businesses. Christine, this is a report that we make every month. So since our last meeting, we've had one new storefront business open, sort of a storefront, Compass Real Estate. They are on the second floor above Millburn Indoor Golf. Went there, toured the space, onboarded their marketing director. They're gonna have 90 people working out of that space. Probably a core of about 40 every day, and then people coming in and out. But I think they're gonna be a boon for the downtown. Actually, Corinne and I had dinner at Guacamole tonight, and I said, I gotta introduce you to their marketing director because they're gonna need catering services. Walk down the street and deliver it. So I think having, 90 extra people in the downtown is gonna be terrific.
Did they move from somewhere?
Yeah, they were at the Schroeder's Mall.
They're in
Ah.
the co-working space in
Oh, they were, I know that.
Industrials, yeah.
Where I suspiciously ran into Alex Zolko.
I was right there.
Oh.
Then he stared at me, he's
So
like.
that's awesome, that's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Huge.
huge.
It's a lot of people there.
that's a lot.
I think we're moving for this.
It's gonna be great.
It's much water there now. Yeah, it's a lot, yeah, I mean, but they're there.
We also have one storefront closed, which was Design Hub, Millburn in Maine. But they're gonna be replaced, in the next couple of weeks with a similar use. It's a home and bath business,
Okay.
out of central New Jersey. So no issue there. That'll be a pretty quick turnover. We also do know that the owner of Plume Studio, which is a hair salon on Lackawanna, she's retiring and moving. So we're working with her on some succession planning, and we're also helping her sell some of the equipment that she has in the space. So that's good stuff. We're trying to make her transition easier. And then Braid Hive actually went on social media this week and said they are moving to Union. They're in downtown, right near Goldberg's, but parking has always been a pretty big issue for them. And so I think they found a better location elsewhere. And then Birch Hill Landscaping, which is on Chatham Road. After 30+ years, they have sold the business and they are retiring. So congratulations to them. There will not be a landscaping business. The business they sold to is in another location, but there is a new tenant that is gonna be taking that space, and I've begun chatting with her about onboarding. So overall, all good stuff. Then we have the free 1-hour parking pilot at the parking deck. So I've been working with our business administrator and our traffic sergeant to deal with some of the ways to increase the use at the parking deck. And reduce the street and surface lot congestion. So you guys probably know, if you've been to lot 1, the clock tower lot, at lunchtime, it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So last week, the TC approved a resolution for a 9-month pilot program that myself and the VA, the traffic sergeant, had worked on. There's gonna be 1 hour of free parking in the parking deck. And then we're also going to be, we're gonna have a variable message sign posted on Essex Street saying 1 hour free parking, turn here. So obviously, it's a one-way street. We wanna capture people as they go in. And then, we're gonna move the Paper Mill Playhouse shuttle from lot 1 to the parking deck. You can, there's a driveway, you can make an easy turnaround. Obviously, it's gonna encourage people to park in the deck,
Yeah.
but also it's a lot safer.
And closer to the pergola.
And closer to the pergola. So I think those are 3 strategies that are gonna be really good to hopefully alleviate the danger, quite literally danger in lot 1. And also try to drive up that habit of parking in the parking deck.
What level in the parking deck is,
The whole thing,
oh,
What's
anywhere
and what's
from
the
one-
time limit at the parking deck?
it's 3 hours.
Is that enough for somebody to go to the paper mill and?
You can add money to if you have the app.
Well, paper mills after hours anyway.
No,
No,
there's
not for the
matinees.
matinees.
That-
Oh,
yeah.
But if you come for lunch, you can add money to it.
Or you can get a shopping permit, like I have.
Yeah,
But it's a 3-hour max.
Yeah.
but it's not gonna affect commuter parking that's on the top, right?
No.
That's the same.
Our goal really is to encourage shoppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're coming downtown and you park in lot 1 and you pay the full freight, it's not a lot of money, but if you do it a lot,
Yeah.
well, you save an hour's parking. It's easier.
But it takes time to do it, anyway.
We gotta retrain people to get them in the deck.
Yeah.
I think parking decks are inherently confusing and intimidating to people. And you have to train them to park in the deck,
So
so,
it takes time to get in. People think you have to go in there, drive around.
but it's actually a really easy parking deck compared to most. And so, that's our goal here.
And also that with enforcement, the people dropping off the package at UPS.
Yeah.
Guy picking up, something from one of the shops or whatever, it's easy to pull it, get a couple steps in and there you go.
Yeah, it is pretty quick.
It's really not bad.
How vacant has the deck been like lately?
I think it's like 70%
Wow.
unused. Yeah.
I think
Wow.
that's what people don't know. It's really,
There's a lot
it's
of
really
spots.
open.
But it's just funny that you brought up the parking deck, because all the parking pirates, that frequent are, delis and Goldberg, the deli and Goldberg's primarily, like, it's so frustrating. Can they be required to park in the deck and walk to Goldberg's to pick up their stuff, or what, like, instead of them hogging every single?
So it's,
I was just curious.
it was something that was actually discussed at the
Oh, was
TC
it?
meeting.
Oh.
2 years ago, we actually, as the town, installed free parking for delivery drivers on Essex Street. It's like we equated it to the kiss and ride at an airport. They can sit there, wait for the order, and then drive, and then jump out. What I would love to see is the police department having somebody at that area of Millburn Avenue say, listen, there's a place for you to go sit. Don't sit here. Go around the corner, come back. I think we need more enforcement, especially at lunchtime. We need a cop
I
there.
agree with you.
Pirates?
But I'm in downtown every
They take
day. I
every
mean,
space
people
up.
park in fire lanes, they park in front of hydrants.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I think
It's really dangerous.
it's also
Yes.
married,
Oh, Liberty, oh, okay.
it's also married to
I've never heard
business
that.
people who park in front of their store.
Yeah.
And don't realize that a customer
Here,
is
have
not
a
allowed
ride.
to park.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, Steve.
Arr.
So it's a
I'm-
9-month pilot, and at the end of the year, we'll reassess and see what
And when
happens.
does it start?
It starts March 1st. And thanks to Alex and the TC for doing that. At the last meeting, Ben asked me to go through and look at how many minority women and immigrant-owned businesses we have. So I have a database that's extremely detailed, but I had an MWBE category, which covers all of those, but I didn't break it down into individual. So I did that since the last meeting. It's an inexact estimate, right? You don't know exactly who's who, but I think I have pretty decent numbers. So the 540 businesses that we have in the bid, I estimate that about 500 are small businesses, so they're not corporate, right? There's the Wendy's and Panera and things like that. I eliminated those. 196, about 36% are women-owned, about 24% are minority-owned, and about 23% are immigrant-owned. Then when you combine them, 50 businesses, about 10%, have the trifecta of being a minority, woman, immigrant-owned business. And so that's great information for us when we go after sponsorship or grants. We have some data here to talk about some of the diversity of our business owners. So thanks for coming up with that and idea, and those are your numbers. Quick update also on the zoning improvements that we discussed at the last township committee meeting. So Mayor Saccomanni invited me to speak before the township committee last week. It was actually a follow-up meeting to the meeting that I had with him and Committeeman Ceruto on probably a dozen different zoning and parking improvements that we have been promoting. One item that he asked me to bring up, two specific items. One of them was removing the 125-foot prohibition for restaurants in the downtown. When you actually read the ordinance and you look at all of the exemptions, there ends up only being about one block where you can't have a restaurant, and it's actually not fair to those handful of properties because everybody else is exempt. It makes sense on Morris Turnpike, it makes sense on Upper Milburn Avenue, but the way that the ordinance is drafted, it doesn't make any logical sense in the downtown. So I suggested repealing that, just so that everybody's equitable. And then I also suggested allowing for office and medical use on the first floor in the downtown. Currently, that requires a variance. We discussed some best practices from across the country of types of medical uses, as well as design standards for offices that could be implemented. So it was the beginning of a longer conversation. I think it was a very interesting discussion among the five of you, as well as myself and the municipal planner, Graham Petto. So Graham is going to reach out to me about continuing that discussion, but I think we started something very good about looking 5-10 years down the line as to what some of the zoning changes need to be in our downtown to be more business friendly. So I thank the mayor and the committee for inviting me to do that.
What's the connection with the office and the medical with us? What's the, why are you involved?
So today, in the downtown, you need a variance to open an office or medical use.
On the first floor.
On the first floor.
Yeah.
As retail continues to change, right?
Yeah.
We know all about it. The expectation is that there's gonna be, especially, we call it medical retail, the IV drops and things like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But also, I've always used the dentist as a great example. A kid's dentist in downtown is great. You've got a mom who comes down
Yeah.
and she's got kids who have to buy books for school and clothes for school and wanna go have a slice of pizza.
Right.
And all of a sudden, that mom taking two kids to the dentist turns into a $200
Yeah,
spending.
that makes sense. Okay, yeah.
So there are definitely some businesses we wanna prohibit. There's others that we wanna support. There's national best practices on it. And then again, I mentioned the design standards. You don't want office space that has a bunch of dead window space. But you can incentivize that with public art bonuses. You can limit it to, you can only have an office if the space is below a certain number of square feet. So there's all ways to structure this, but it has to be done through discussion. And so I thought the TC was really receptive to say, I think Explore has figured out that there's some cracks in the system here. Let's try to identify how we can improve.
You're trying to help the property owners, like use up their space, that kind of like.
We're trying to help the property owners long-term not have significant vacancies,
Yeah.
but also to diversify the types of businesses that we're allowed to bring in.
Right.
It'd be remiss if we don't say what our vacancy rate is. Go ahead.
Oh, it's low.
It's very, very low.
Yes.
3%.
It's 2.94%, but it's also less than 1% in the downtown.
And Steve, there was also another issue a while ago with, I remember Senator McKeon was trying to rent office space in
Yeah.
Millburn to be in our town because he wanted to be, because everybody loves Millburn. And guess what? It's against zoning. Okay, sorry.
It's political office.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for ground.
Ground floor office.
For ground floor office. So he had actually identified space. Yeah, well, yeah,
That's a good deal.
Well, the
He
example I
identified
asked them to
space and they
use-
said, you need a variance.
So the example I used was, and it happens to make sense tonight, is the Compass office, right? So you've got Millburn Indoor Golf on the first floor, that's considered a retail use. Compass's office on the second floor is allowed because it's a office use. If you flip them, they wouldn't be allowed, right?
Right.
So you say to yourself, but there's 90 people working and we just lauded how great that is for economic development. What difference does it make? It makes no difference because the parking allocation would continue to be the same. You know, all you're doing is you're making it harder to do business in situations where it's already happening anyway.
Can I just I just wanna weigh in on this, because I have a strong, I mean, from an economic perspective, totally understand, just if you're crunching numbers, but my biggest concern is that just living here since '97 and watching, there's not a lot of stores like yours left, okay? And and the more it starts to dwindle down, people don't come to you because they're not coming to our town anymore. And so Guido was a fabulous store. I bought it was my style, I bought all the clothes there. And that's gone, you know what I mean? And so, and there was a great little, remember Curate, that store, that's gone. There's just so many little specialty stores, and a lot of them are gone now. And so I do think if we start to make everything sort of genericized to sort of these industrial buildings, and sort of doctor offices, what you're gonna have is you're gonna just have a place devoid of personality. And, I think you gotta look at how to get more businesses in terms of understanding who is our I'm just throwing this out as a concept, who our demographic is going to be, because I don't know if we've defined that as a town and as an organization. It's is our demographic everybody who lives in this town very specifically? Because if it is, we have not addressed that demographic successfully, right? That's what and if it's gonna be let's draw in people from Summit and let's draw in people from this town to have more stores like yours, then that's a different marketing process. And so I think not having that strategy up front is concerning, but I don't wanna see more stores like yours go by the wayside. I don't, I'm standing on that one, so there's just an opinion, I know I don't get to vote.
But I don't think that's an Explore issue, that's the changing landscape of retail. So,
But Summit doesn't have that problem.
Summit doesn't have a mall, Summit has a grid,
The mall's right,
Summit.
same distance.
You know
But
what?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's I don't think that's an I mean, if a landlord had a tenant that wanted to come to Millburn, I think they would welcome a pure rate type high accessory model that or middle level of accessory model that would they would welcome that. So I don't think that's necessarily Explore. I'm sure Vicky's landlord, if he had another opportunity for a boutique clothing store or a gift store, I don't know, but I don't know if it's an Explore issue. I just think it's a changing.
But who drives whoever's driving the zoning process, it's a TC decision, but it's still it comes upon your advisement. So I just think the town is really becoming very bland, and I shop less and less. I'm just being honest. And so, you saw Calico Corners is gone, okay? That was a draw from a lot of people from Summit to come down into our town. And now they're in Summit, so you don't wanna lose businesses.
Do you know why they left?
I would imagine that they may, probably because a lot of their customers might have been from Summit,
No.
I don't know.
They were able to buy a building instead of renting one.
What they wanted, okay, but it's.
No, but it's.
I'm
But
sure
they're
there's
also
other
a national, they're a national franchise. They're
There's no
not
parking
a,
subs
they're
over
not.
there.
What?
Subs over there, the parking over there in Summit. Cause I had to go to Calico Corners, it was impossible.
Every town has different.
No, I just would like to see, I hate to see some of the charm of interesting stores, and have everything be restaurants and nail salons, and that's all.
Well,
It's
that's
just my
the
opinion.
point of trying to change the zoning,
Yeah.
right, is that the zoning today generally lends itself to those uses. The path of least resistance is replacing the nail salon with a nail salon, put in another barber shop. Those are all allowable uses that don't require variances. So the impetus for what I was speaking to the TC about is you're not precluding the uses you're talking about. You're not saying, well, if we change the zoning to allow medical uses, we're now no longer allowing boutiques. You're just
I understand.
allowing an additional use, which I think is critical because we know that there's gonna be fewer and fewer boutiques. 10 years from now, it's gonna be very hard to own a boutique in the United States. So we don't want our zoning code to be behind pace. We want it to be ahead of pace. But we've had, Sestra opened up on Upper Millburn
Yeah,
Avenue, they're doing
that
very
was
well.
interesting.
Gather opened up last year, they're doing very well. So I think there's still a desire for new businesses in that boutique type style. But I just don't think it's gonna be the majority of the businesses, and I think our zoning code needs to be inviting to the new economy.
I also want to point that the buildings that have a lot of square feet, like 5,000,
Right.
I mean, we got a bunch of those, not a lot, but that concerns me. Because like,
Nobody wants that anymore.
what are you gonna do?
Right.
Like, my building is 5,000, there's the rug guy is probably at least 70,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I have like, the building on Millburn Avenue, all the way at the end, I don't know,
Mhm.
it used to be dry, I don't know what
Yeah.
it was.
Like the bridal store.
Part of the store, yeah, I mean.
But now it's
that's-
being converted to a bath and kitchen showroom.
Yeah,
that's really
good.
So like those kind of things, I mean, like, there has to be other uses, you don't want that place to be like big, those businesses out,
Well, I mean, that's a good argument, I just, there's so many schools and coder this and coder that, and so.
But you asked a
can't-
question about who's the demographic. We know what the
But
demographic
no,
is in many
but
ways,
what
right?
is I asked, no one answered my question about what the demographic was.
I thought it was hypothetical, but
No, I actually think we actually have to define it, I think it's important.
well, I think we know our
Yeah.
demographic
Yeah.
is now 40% Chinese or Indian. They're moving here predominantly for the school system. And we have a lot of young families that moved here after COVID to
Right.
raise their families.
Right.
So it's a natural thing that a gymnastics school opens up, that Swim Quest is doing very well.
Market.
That you have tons of supplemental education. If you're moving here for the top school district in the state,
It's always been the top school district.
Right, so the
One of
market is
things-
reading the
One of
market.
the things too,
Yeah.
you talked about the giveaway to the paper mill. The demographic doesn't go out to eat as much as the previous demographic, so as the
Right.
demographic swells, you've got a void, and you wanna have those patrons filling those restaurants. That being said too, we're also bringing a new high-end dilly, high-end Indian restaurant to town. And I think we're continuing to search and do the same for a Asian Chinese restaurant as well.
No, I think those are all great ideas, but what I'm gonna go back, because you went
Well, you
off.
saw what the demographic
No,
was.
no,
that's
what
the
I'm saying is
demographic.
you have to, when you do a marketing plan to do, this is like a giant corporation downtown, if you think about it. When you do a marketing plan, you wanna understand who your customer is, and you can say, yeah, I already know what the demographics of all the people who live in the town are, okay? But the question is, does each demographic, that portion, what do they spend downtown? Now, I know we can't get those numbers, but my point is that if you don't, you might say this demographic, likes bright colors, and this demographic tends to spend more on food, or, maybe we need a specialty, grocery store for specific type of cultural food, that type of thing. But maybe is it high end, is it not high end? But I don't think anybody could say we want this to be X. Are we just gonna say it is, and so identifying that, and your whole point about the paper mill and who comes to the paper mill, well, that's why I would love to see their Dems, because it would be really interesting to see what towns are they coming from, let's say HHI, the household income. That's all I was trying to say, I wasn't trying to be critical, I just wanna make sure that we're targeting, so that we take all the good things you guys are doing, because you're doing amazingly good things. And, well, no, I know, I'm just, they do the legwork. I mean, so, sorry, you guys
I
are part
meant
two.
if you include yourself
Yeah.
now, you're on the.
Okay, no, but I just wanna make sure that we can market to so many people, and every event that you do is even bigger. That's all I was trying to say, it wasn't a criticism,
But I
that's
think
all.
your
Yeah.
point is
Yeah.
is accurate. But just remember, the genesis of this particular report was
Right.
about zoning.
Right.
And so, yeah, marketing, demographics, all that's super important, but specific to zoning. My point was, when you've got this huge influx of young families coming here for a school district, well, then it makes sense that supplemental education is gonna grow as as one of your industries.
Yes, of course.
Which it has. So it's two separate yet related discussions.
Yeah.
But certainly, we'll continue to work through that. I wanna give one last report before we go to public comment, because it is very important, regarding Main Street, New Jersey, Main Street America. So on February 11th, Main Street America and Main Street, New Jersey came for their annual visit. as Ben said, we are one of the 29 towns in the state with that designation. So we discussed our current scorecard as well as some of their recommendations for achieving all of our goals. So currently we are in the first of the 2 levels of accreditation. So we got into the Main Street, New Jersey in 2024. We are now affiliates. So we want to get to the next level, which is accredited. So to do that, we have to maintain 6 framework goals and 9 baseline requirements. So currently we've got 4 of the 6 framework goals and we have 7 of the 9 baseline requirements. So we're doing really well being a very young program. So we've got shorter to go to complete it than from the beginning. So we have to do 3 things were their recommendations. First is to conduct a community survey, which would then follow with a day and a half of community workshops conducted by Main Street America staff. They gave us an outline for it, but I do need to speak with Mr. McDonald and the mayor, because I know that the TC is working on a strategic planning committee. I just want to make sure that there's not overlapping confusion with that. But as we get closer to potentially doing something, I'll keep you guys appraised. The other piece is, we really want to improve our relationship and our work with the Historic Preservation Commission. Main Street has a big focus on historic preservation and economic development. One of the recommendations that actually Main Street America made was that HPC should consider reaching out to them because they have preservation specialists who actually work with a lot of local HPCs about how you can promote economic development through historic preservation as well as communicate more effectively on what can often be a very controversial subject. So I'll reach out. I mean, we have Christine here, who's also on HPC, and
Yeah.
certainly want to bring that back to your team. That would be terrific. And also, the public art master plan, would love to get HPC's involvement in that as well, because there's certainly opportunities to promote historic preservation through public art. So that'll be part of the consultants' work as well. And then the third and then the largest and most important is what they call a transformation plan. So in theory, every year, sometimes it's every other year, towns have transformation plans. So the idea here is to come up with a transformation strategy, which we decided is, I'm going to quote, make downtown Millburn, because only downtown is in the Main Street program, not the other districts.
Oh.
Make downtown Millburn, and I can explain that to you, Christine, if you
No, it's
want.
fine, I'm listening.
It's semantics.
You don't have to explain.
Make downtown Millburn a walkable destination with strong aesthetics, accessibility, and brand recognition. So there's two projects that we would like to do to achieve that goal. The first one is the sidewalk improvement project, which I've talked about, and we're gonna talk about some more. That's through a grant we have from the state, and then the holiday decor committee. So those 2 things ideally combined will meet the goal of making it a more walkable destination with strong aesthetics. So if we can execute those 2 projects, we will get 2 more baseline requirements as well as meet all of the 9 other requirements. So we will be now able to get to that next level of certification.
Steve,
What did we get?
Steve, what's the?
We get nothing, unfortunately.
Once you're accredited, what do you?
We don't get anything. It's just
like a.
It's just to say you've done well.
The gold star.
Yeah, the state is the only one that gives the money, the national program doesn't. So
So,
unfortunately, it's just,
but it goes on the
it
letterhead.
goes on the letterhead. And it costs us nothing, right, to do this work, because we would do it anyway, so. So I think the holiday decor is kind of self-explanatory and taken care of on its own right. But in terms of the sidewalk improvement project, so just to refresh, that is, I thought I had notes on it, I do. We originally applied, we got $150,000 from Main Street, New Jersey, to improve the sidewalk on Millburn Avenue between Main and Lackawanna. Earlier this year, the township committee had a discussion. They said, we prefer if you use that money further east on Main Street, on Millburn Avenue, sorry, between Lackawanna and Holmes. So that covers Winningham. That was the decision that they made. So I met with the engineering team, Alex McDonald. We came up, we did all the drawings over again, came up with some new ideas. We have a meeting tomorrow with a bunch of other department heads. But what we're planning at this point, and again, this is just preliminary, 4 concrete bump outs at Whittingham Terrace and Holmes Street. Those will be designed for speed reduction, better pedestrian access. They'll have the vegetative swales that you have in the other parts of downtown. Angled parking on the north side of the street, that would increase from 10 parking spaces to 14. Installation of new trees, new poles so that we could put a banner across the street, because right now you can't really do that.
Great idea, it's right,
Oh, that is good.
And then as you move further down, we actually are going to, so if you envision the Millburn Deli right now, on the right side, because they put in the angled parking, there's 2 sort of dead spaces that are covered with
Yeah.
bollards. We're gonna put planters there as traffic protection, and then we plan to paint the asphalt in there as kind of a pedestrian oasis. No seating or anything like that, but just try to make it look a little bit prettier and
Yeah.
and a lot of other towns have painted the street, but it's not gonna impact traffic because it'll be blocked off. Because right now it's just dead space anyway. And then we want to do a sign reduction program. So basically, as Millburn Avenue in the original area from Maine to Lackawanna, we've actually, if you remember Zach Minter worked for us for a little while this year. He went out and inventoried all the signage on that street. There's so much sign, so unnecessary. So we worked with the engineering department to make sure that where we could reduce signage, that we still stay in compliance with state highway law. But taking down a bunch of signs, replacing them, reallocating them, just trying to create less of a chaotic viewscape. And then also, we talked about potentially putting a wrought iron fence mid-block on Main Street. So you know where the standard, you could basically like fall into the street.
Right.
I'm surprised people don't get hit, but potentially putting a small fence there to protect pedestrians. And then Alex also wants to rip up the concrete, and replace it with new concrete, or potentially asphalt on top of it. It's just not in good condition. We need to do that work anyway, so we can use a portion of this funding to do that. So it's a very, very large project. Where that comes to you guys, if you go to attachment 11, it's a quick spreadsheet. We have 4 Main Street committees: economic vitality, organization, promotions, design. Technology, ignore that for a second. So for instance, economic vitality. That committee, to achieve this goal, would work with businesses during construction. It should be the last
Oh,
page.
sorry, thank you.
So how are we supporting the businesses who may experience a disruption during construction? The organization committee, maybe there's additional grant funding that we can get to do other projects that are related. The design committee, help us design the planters, the other decor that's going in. So as we work through this, that will help us not only achieve the project, but also achieve our goals of the Main Street. So right now, we really just need to figure out 1 board member to serve on the promotions committee and 1 board member to serve on the design committee. Other than that, we're pretty well situated for volunteers. So is there anyone that's interested in being added to the promotions committee or the design committee? Right now, I put Christine on both because I know that's part of her interest, but if there's anybody else that would like to serve? All volunteer ones.
I'd like to serve, I'm just too stretched too thin, I just can't do it.
Okay.
Stretched too thin.
Do you need, oh, never mind.
Well, we'll see what goes on. We also, we do have 2 board vacancies, so potentially if we get more people appointed, they can serve, but I'm gonna send an email to you guys probably next week, just starting the kickoff process. Either myself or Corinne will run those groups, and then we'll have an initial meeting, we'll talk about strategies. I need to get the final engineering work done tomorrow from the town, and then we can start the process, but are there any questions about that, or? It's a big project, but it's all very good stuff.
What the Main Street, this is only for Main, these are the 5 segments of the Main Street program, you're saying? These committees are related to only the Main Street program?
Correct.
I see what you're saying.
So yeah, technology, like I said, ignore that. We've got some things going on where we're gonna need your expertise.
Sure.
But in terms of economic vitality, that will be limited to that project. So we're shifting a little bit from our advisory committee that we used to have that was sort of generic.
Right.
This is focused specifically on this project, because to get that project done will allow us to potentially go up.
Do you
in
want me
range.
to shift from economic vitality to promotions or design? Does that,
If you'd like, Yeah.
I'm just, it's just in terms of well, you can think about that.
okay, so now I hope you guys understand what we're doing with this project and we'll keep reporting.
If you wanna shift, I'll take her spot in economic vitality, I could do that in my sleep.
Okay,
If you wanted to shift, I don't think she wants to shift to something else.
would you like to go on promotions or design? Ms. Lieberberg,
Corinne, where do you think you need more help?
there's a lot of overlap, so
Yeah,
on those two,
maybe promotions?
Okay,
Fabulous, thank you very much.
thank you.
What's the meeting schedule?
Oh, it's gonna be super ad hoc, I mean, very limited.
Yeah, now, is the lighting committee, that's the ad hoc lighting committee, are you finished? I didn't want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the ad hoc lighting committee that Jamie, because you guys were, weren't you on call, or maybe it was.
Michelle was.
Michelle's on call, right, so is that?
We're not running that committee, just.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that's not playing, so but the lighting is under, isn't it under the board, this board's
No.
jurisdiction? Cause it kind of said that in one of the documents.
We took the township committee.
It's
took
unclear in
ownership
there.
of it.
Yeah, it's just, yeah,
Just
maybe,
ask Jamie about it,
Yeah.
have him fix it,
Okay.
if it's unclear.
okay, I
But
just,
it's specifically brought up.
it's under the
Under
township,
the-
It's something that we participate in,
Right.
got it,
but we're just one of many members.
okay. No, I just was curious about that, and then, so, and who's driving the meeting schedule? Is this gonna be Fran on both the ones I'm on at least?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll be driving.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
And it's really gonna be driven by the construction schedule. So I work with Alex and the engineering department.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, all right, we need to start investigating what plantings we need. I'll let Corinne know and then we move on.
And on the new walkways, right, like, are you going to, like, is this like a bigger project, like, who's supervising the overall, like, look and feel, is there a streetscape architect that's doing this work, or is
Our engineering
Alex?
department is designing.
But there's not a designer, there's an engineer designing it, there's not,
Correct.
so I just was throwing that out, if there's some way that we can actually spend a little bit of money to have a designer to make it continuously aesthetic, you know, so it's not, cause I feel like when the TC, no offense to TC, approaches these projects, they do it in these segments, and then there's not this continuousness of a look. You know, and I think that's important, you know, or you just even from the treescape and having tree wells, if we don't have tree wells and people throw, trash all over, especially down by Goldberg's, I'm not saying Goldberg's does it, I'm just saying that people just leave stuff and, you know, just having a consistency, I think is important, and I was wondering if I could just
Well,
throw
it's-
that comment out.
Yeah, so again, that's a good question, Christine, because it does, I think, differentiate us and the town, especially budget wise.
Yeah.
So, we secured the 150,000.
Thank you.
We are working as an advisor for certain aspects of the project. But as the mayor's designee, you're in a good position to say, hey, we had this conversation.
Yeah.
And I think the project's great, but probably we could use some additional funding.
Yeah.
Why don't you authorize Alex to go out and hire a landscape architect?
Yeah.
That's beyond our scope operationally and budget wise. But it's a great
I'm the
response.
I'm a funding person, I think we need some more money, that's what the person.
I got my head chopped off, I said, well, why don't we just, we're tearing up the sidewalks, why don't we bury the power
I
lines?
can charge you,
So everybody's
that's not
like,
me.
everybody was like.
No, I would have agreed with you, I'm the queen of looking at like the Leaning Tower.
It's
because that-
unfortunate.
It's great, it looks like it's gonna fall. Every
It's
time I look,
unfortunate.
It's crazy.
Isn't it
Yeah.
like hundreds of thousands?
It
It's
is,
$1 million
but we
a
need to
mile.
spend the hundreds of thousands.
But it's only like a mile, isn't it like a mile?
It's $1 million a mile.
It's, you gotta do
less-
it,
just
you
under a
gotta
mile.
do it, like,
I
let's
think
do
it's
it right.
worth it.
I think it's
I mean,
worth
not a
it.
hard one.
I agree.
But who's gonna pay for it?
So we have
Township
public
funds.
comments.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Still left.
okay.
Back
Public
to
comment.
Sorry.
Good time to
The
shine.
public is invited to provide comments at this point in the meeting. Please state your name for the record and limit comments to 3 minutes. Prepared statements may be sent to Steve at Millburn-Short. Please remember, this is a business meeting and professional decorum must be maintained. If a speaker engages in disorderly conduct that disrupts the meeting, they will be asked to cease their comments. All questions must be directed to me, the chair. At the conclusion of public comment, members of the board may respond. or ask our attorney to do so, and the attorney will not answer questions without a request from board members.
Open public comment, very good.
Yes.
Vicky Powell, business owner. First, welcome Christine to the Township Committee, the Explore Board, sorry, Township Committee. Oops. Second, I want to thank the township for the incredible job they did with the snow removal. Not only did they clear the
Yeah,
streets
that's
well, the sidewalks, they did the sidewalks after the snow. Hope they do that here now, although we're gonna get some warmer weather, but they did a fabulous job. Also, I do like the Township Committee's, way that they're going with the $500 penalty for double parking. Let's work that on Taylor Street in front of the swims, because it's horrific, and especially now with the smaller streets, trying to get around there, it's hard. So that, I think it's a great idea. Second, I want to commend Explore for their Friday marketing message. I did have somebody that was participating in the snowflake, in the box,
Mailbox.
Yeah, thank you. From California, and she mentioned to me that she got that marketing message and she thought it was really good. She's one of my clients, she shopped with me, I had entered her in the raffle, and she said she wasn't on the mailing list before, but she's now on the mailing list, and she did comment that the marketing message was very impressive, so I thought I'd let you guys know that. And then lastly, my Ben, this is directed towards you. We're heading into March, we have 2 open board seats. I know I've had this discussion in January. You asked me to send you my speech, you were gonna send it to the township committee members.
Which I did.
Okay, and I had the message again with you guys, a couple weeks ago before Tuesday's meeting. I was hoping maybe on Tuesday's meeting we get some movement going. We still haven't had any movement. What's going on? You guys just right now, prime example, you have committees that need members. We're short 2 board members. So what is taking so long? I don't understand. We just made our mayor designate, so we got 1 filled. There's 2 more. They gave a list in December. Why are we pushing? I don't understand why the business district is not being considered to get these. We can fill other committees. Why can't we get this taken care of? Why isn't it a priority? It might not be important to them, but it's important to the businesses. We need these spots filled so that this stuff can be taken care of. That's just my thoughts. It's getting very frustrating that we're now going into March and we still don't have these taken care of. So thank you.
Let's go through the.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
there is no.
Is there anybody on Zoom that has public comment?
Yeah, raise your hand, let us talk. All right, let us talk, looks like you're muted, there you go.
Hello?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, just a quick question, Perry Urso. Have you changed policy and procedures within your meetings?
Don't
No.
answer until she's finished.
Okay, I'm the reason why I'm asking, because members from the public have engaged with this with your board throughout the entire meeting. So unfortunately, other people that are online, or I don't, and no one else has the opportunity to engage like that. So I'm just curious to know if policy and procedures have changed. So I guess I'll get an answer. Thank you.
My answer, and Tom, you can certainly second this, is you are the chair, it is your meeting to run. You can let anybody talk when they want to. Am I correct?
I don't have anything to add.
And then,
So my question is, how do people that are online have that same opportunity? Because sometimes we can't always make the meeting. So are you going to open the floor to anybody that's on Zoom?
Of course, Ms. Urso, you are on Zoom right now. We're awaiting any other additional comments you'd like to share.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity earlier. This is public comment. I didn't have the opportunity unless you're telling me that you are
There was
affording
one-
people
there
throughout
was
the
no
meeting.
There was no other public comment, Ms. Urso.
I understand, and I didn't say that there was. I was saying that members from the public were engaged in your entire meeting. That's what I'm saying. So if your policy and procedures have changed, I'm just asking if it's changed for everybody.
So, if I may, disruptions are suffered at the courtesy of the chair. If you want to find that someone's out of order when they're not recognized, you can. If you want to allow for that discussion, you can, you're the chair, that's your prerogative. We don't need to change any policy in order to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Urso. Mr. Stoller, would you like to comment on the Ms. Powell's concern with respect to vacant board chairs?
Yes, so, we have a meeting on the 3rd. I would definitely show up and I'm ready to push somebody through or vote on nominees as they become available. So, you know, really, I haven't seen anything come through as well. I've asked and, you know, I'm interested to see what happens on the 3rd. When we have a consensus across the TC, there'll be pointed, I guess. But definitely something to bring up. TC, I passed your previous email across to all the TC members.
Thank you.
I have just one item for the record. Jeffrey Feld, resident and attorney for Bear Properties, could not attend tonight. He submitted an email to me. He asked that we provide it to all of you in advance. That's an established procedure that we do not. However, it will be included in the minutes for the next meeting, so it will be in the record. And I did answer some of his questions regarding the audit as well.
Yeah, and to Mr. Slattery's point too, from Ms. Urso, I can't tell you, sitting on this day for 2+ years now, that we do, sometimes public does interject from time to time. And, you know, it's up to the chair to resolve that issue, to attempt or
At the meeting.
to chair the meeting. I think what is the term used? Interject.
Disruptions are suffered at the chair's discretion.
Yeah, interruptions are something.
Boy, he must be a lawyer. Well, Madam Chair, is your
Well,
discretion,
is
if you'd
there-
like to adjourn the meeting?
Well, my question is there anybody else online before we adjourn?
Not on Zoom.
Just a motion, a second, and a voice vote.
Yeah, may I have a motion? I would just want to mention that our next meeting will be March 26th at 6:30. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
All in
Thank you.
favor?
I owe you.
All in favor.